The province of British Columbia still has thousands of healthcare workers not back at work, and on top of that, they've passed a new Healthcare Act, Bill 36, that is causing great concern, and that is the reason why hundreds have gathered outside of Bell Media's office today to talk about it.
These colleges, as part of an investigation or, maybe very wide scope, it's not very clear, could ask for medical records, private medical records to be revealed without appropriate or necessary judicial oversight, without subpoenas, for example.
Humphrey here with Rebel News, standing on the corner of Robson Street, and as I mentioned, in front of Bell Media's office, and I have covered extensively concerns that are being raised about a new Healthcare Act in British Columbia, Bill 36. It was recently passed the end of last year. Recently, I told you that one of the largest petitions to ever be brought forward in the BC Legislative Assembly was in fact opposing this bill. It was brought forward by MLA Rustad. And today, a protest put on by Stand United that's attracted at least 200 people outside of Bell Media here is discussing this bill again. There are some medical professionals, science, and of course, everyday concerned citizens here that are gathering. We're going to talk to some of them, we're going to catch the march, and we're going to see why this is important and why they want to recall Premier David Eby because of it. We're outside of CTV, Bell Media, and you actually used to work for Global.
I used to work for these guys too, briefly a long time ago, but I used to work for Global News. Yes, I did.
So what brought you here today, though? Why oppose Bill 36?
Well, it's just another oppressive bill put together or sort of implemented by a leader who's unelected. I think that we forget that David Eby is an unelected premier. He sort of won by default because the lady he was running against was disqualified. We did not vote him in either. And part of him is he should be cleaning up the mess that John Horgan left for this province, but he's just making more of a mess. If you're a naturopath, if you're a chiropractor, if you're an optometrist, you don't need to take this to serve your community. And so for them to want to mandate you again to take this so that you can look after people when the healthcare system is already crumbling and so desperate for workers, what is the logical sense of this?
These colleges, as part of an investigation or, maybe very wide scope, it's not very clear, could ask for medical records, private medical records to be revealed without appropriate or necessary judicial oversight, without subpoenas, for example. The bill is so massive, but yet there's still parts of it that are very unclear, details still to follow.
Yeah, close to 650 sections, I believe, of it.
It is completely unprecedented for the college in BC to say to physicians that we could not prescribe hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, for example. And for me, that was such a remarkable decision made by the college. For me, that was one of the moments where I really questioned what was going on.
It's more government interaction in our healthcare than what should be. The fact that they want to appoint our colleges and boards with government-appointed people, the merging of the colleges into 6 government-led bodies, it's a lot of control. It really takes away the voice of the doctor. There's fines that they can receive. And it's not just doctors and nurses. We're talking chiropractors, physios, therapists, psychologists, dentists. Everybody will be lumped in and being controlled and not able to have a one-on-one proper conversation because everyone's going to be worried about, am I saying the right thing? We want our doctors to be able to say what they feel and their training is, not what our government is allowing them to say.
All right, so lots of information here. Lots of people opposed to the bill. I just want to let you guys know one of the VPD did tap me on the shoulder and said, I appreciate your coverage and what you're doing at Rebel News. So lots of people behind the scenes appreciate what we do. And I just want to say, if you're one of those people, then consider supporting us. We are completely viewer funded. We don't take a penny from the Trudeau government. So a fun way to do so is go to rebelnewsstore.com and buy yourself some gear. And let's get back to the rest of the protest.
In a nutshell, Bill 36 will give the province the ability to mandate whatever medical intervention they see fit. It will change drastically the amount of privacy that patients have with their doctor, with their healthcare professional. And I think ultimately we think it's too much. We look at the amount of pressure and how restricted it will be, especially with the fines involved. If we toe out of the government narrative, we'll be subject to a $200,000 fine per instance, or go to jail. So I'll be going to Alberta, as I imagine most people will, and it just leaves our already strained healthcare system with far few people that are here. And for nurses, I want to say nurses are already about 16, 17 months without a paycheck, and in Alberta they hired back their nurses. In all the other provinces, they've hired back their nurses, but we have a lot more pressure on healthcare practitioners here.
Happy birthday! It's her birthday! So why celebrate here at this protest for your birthday?
Oh, this is the best way to celebrate. I mean, I have 3 boys at home, and this is their future. This is what we're here for. We're here for them to have a future, to not live under medical tyranny, under a dictator, and I want them to have all the rights and freedoms that I grew up, or thought I grew up with, at least not like it is now. This is horrendous.
All right, so the march is on the way. Still chanting, hey, hey, ho, ho, David Eby's got to go. And they've got their Recall David Eby signs. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's a campaign that's been going on. I believe hundreds of canvassers have been going around in Premier of British Columbia David Eby's MLA riding to try and have his new MLA seat revoked. They're circling downtown Vancouver and eventually going to end up back in front of CTV to complete some more speeches.
Hey! Ho ho! David Eby's got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! David Eby's got to go! After they all moved to Alberta, then it's too late, right? Research Bill 36 before it's too late. Save your medical professionals in British Columbia.
Can you give us an update on how it's been going with your efforts to try and get Premier David Eby's MLA seat recalled?
Sure. So in the beginning, at the early second, third week, massive education campaign. So nobody knew what Bill 36 was. Many didn't even know who David Eby was within the riding. So you have to realize we are the media there. We are the TV, radio, and newspaper. So until we can get people signing, we got signatures because the ones didn't like David Eby. But after the education, we started to notice, where do I sign? Where do I sign? But that took a few weeks to get to that point. So we're at the halfway point now. We're seeing definitely a change in the riding. We figure we've got about 65 to 75% of the riding educated to the point where they know they have a choice if they want to exercise the democracy to remove David Eby.
There are some doctors that are in attendance today that are making their exit. That's why David Eby has to be recalled. He has to go. This is bad business for British Columbians. Yes? Yes.
This is really disconcerting. It's not just about vaccinations, and I know that's why a lot of you are here. It's also the composition of these colleges. So that's my concern. And another government-appointed committee having the veto power on those decisions.
I think it is our responsibility to stand up for freedom to travel and for health freedom, for the freedom to gather, the freedom to worship, the freedom to practice religion the way that we choose to. I don't believe freedom is an idol, and I don't think you guys do either. I think that's why you're here.
The COVID-19 situation has really opened our eyes to a lot about our healthcare system and our government and our media, and we've seen a lot of censorship of this information that cannot be suppressed, because science, it's a endeavor where we're looking for the truth, and eventually the truth prevails and everyone will recognize it. This is not going to be acceptable in our society, and so this is where we can build from here and maybe do a great reset, but not the reset that they have in mind. Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. You heard from many people about what is concerning about this bill. And if you want to find out more information, check out the description box below. And also, if you want to support our independent journalism, you can do so in a really fun way. I did see some people walking around with Rebel gear, and that helps us a lot. So if you go to rebelnewsstore.com and treat yourself and the patriots in your life to some of our awesome gear there, you're helping support Rebel News, and we so much appreciate it.